gingers. Some of y'all dark follicle gingers.
Dark follicle gingers.
All right, I'm gonna back myself up out of this conversation.
Must be one of them house gingers. Okay, I see how it is.
He's one of the house gingers. You're silly.
Oh,
It's begun.
man, it's gonna be a crazy. Are we live, bro?
Yeah, what's funny is I went ahead and went live, so this is all great.
I'm not even ready.
Oh,
I wasn't
man.
ready for that.
Man.
All right, so we're gonna introduce these guys in just a second, get started. So if you're jumping on, come on. It's about to be on. All right, so do us a favor, Pastor Doug, Pastor Manny, share this post. I'm about to share the link with you guys.
Okay.
Where we at? Boom. Share.
Share. We'll get it started. I'm gonna introduce everybody. Okay.
Cool. Perfect. More options. Copy link.
Pastor Doug, was you sitting around watching LeBron James clips? Is that what took?
Nope. You know what it was? I actually had a couple over the house. We're kind of breaking COVID, where we're kind of done with it. And so
You say you're done with it.
a great young couple at our church that we love, they're getting married. We said, come over for dinner. And I thought they'll be gone, but they don't have kids. So they were staying all night hanging out. And I'm like, yo, I gotta go. Hold on, I'm gonna share this link real quick.
No doubt. And you know they're going to be able to watch this and hear you say that you were trying to get rid of them.
Mhm.
We're already live, Douglas.
I know. I love them. They're great.
He
They
said
really
we
know.
live.
I kept saying I had to go. And I'm like, I gotta go, y'all.
For real.
That's funny.
Hold on,
No
I'm
doubt.
sharing it right now.
All right. Cool.
As soon as they do that, we'll get started.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, I did it. There we go.
He's back. And we are back. Welcome back to Pastors Unfiltered. This is episode 8.
Yep.
This episode is brought to you by Fatback Hair Grease, a subsidiary of Chicken Grease Chapstick.
You lied.
As always, I'm your host, Denver Griggs. My co-host for the evening is Pastor Muta Mwenya of Relevant Church, Niles, Michigan. And on the call tonight, we have some awesome guests with us. This evening, we have campus pastor Emmanuel Gonzalez of World Harvest Church of Elkhart, Indiana.
Woo, woo. Come on.
Also joining us is Pastor Doug Garasick of Russ City Church of Niles, Ohio.
Russ City, what?
Russ City, stand up.
Welcome,
World
fellas.
Harvest, stand up.
Glad to have y'all with us tonight. Before we even get started, anybody want to send questions through the comments,
Yep.
all that, go ahead and start now. These guys right here, they're very bright. They're gonna give it to us raw.
You can tell by their hair, they're very
Unfiltered.
bright.
Okay.
I wasn't going there. I was trying to stay away.
Today-
I already
today-
got in trouble.
Yeah, listen, Pastor Doug's the one who told me. He was like, oh, it's ginger special tonight. Yes, absolutely. So
Ginger special.
The
All
luck
Pastor
of the
Manny's got the
Irish.
hat on. He didn't want to expose the gold. So
He
Exactly.
changed, bro.
Don't
He
wanna
just
cross,
changed.
Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs. Just saying.
You've always been a Chiefs fan?
He's a bandwagon.
Always. Oh, shut up, Doug.
That's
We're
what I
gonna
was
fight.
trying
We're
to
gonna
get
fight
to,
here on
Pastor
Facebook
Doug.
Live tonight. You want to talk about
Listen,
bandwagon
this-
fans?
I was trying to see
I can
y'all.
name quarterbacks like Tyler Thigpen, y'all. Brody Croyle.
Listen, you can't get nothing that Wikipedia didn't give you, okay? You just went to
We're gonna fight all
Come on now.
unfiltered.
Come on now.
Gary
This is already
Springer
good.
uncensored
We
here in
ain't
about
started
5
yet.
seconds.
that's hilarious. Hey, everybody watching this, like this, share this. Let people know that we're on Pastors Unfiltered. It's gonna be a fun night. Love these guys, and we've got some questions for them. Don't we, Denver?
We do have,
Oh
we
man,
have a question or two.
we curated special questions just for you guys. We scrolled through everybody's questions like, nah, that's too religious. Nah, that's too nice. Let's get down to really what we want to know about these two young men.
Yes. And so we're going to get it started. We're going to ask both of you the same question. We're going to let one go. You know, we don't want y'all fighting. We know how y'all get down. You know, that ginger on ginger violence. We don't want none of that tonight. You know, we're gonna
get in trouble for this tonight.
He's already, Pastor Doug already thinking in his head, I don't like that mix.
No, I'm thinking about the Fighting Irish, baby. That's why we got the name.
Oh my God.
The Fighting Irish. All right, here we go, fellas. Question number 1. What is your most embarrassing moment on stage during a service? Pastor Doug, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was a youth pastor. You know, teenagers' attention span so long and so well. I was telling a story about grabbing an axe. And I said, you got to grab this axe, you got to chop down this tree. And like the axe represented the different things in our life. And like, you got to chop down some things that God doesn't want, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you got to grab your ass. But I meant to say axe. And so I just said it, ASS. I said, you got to grab your, it's game over. It's game. You're not, it's over. Pray it out.
You lost those kids.
Yep. So that was a strong one for me.
Wow.
That's funny.
That's big. That's big.
Because I could see it happening.
Yeah, I can totally see you doing
the
that.
whole crowd laughing at you.
It was done.
Walk off the stage.
It was probably 80, 90, maybe 100 students. It was game over. The crowd turned on me. They literally just kept saying, they went home, told their parents, pastor said, I just got to grab my ASS. I'm like, it's a wrap.
Yes.
Pastor, I gotta grab
yes.
That's fun.
That's so good. So good.
Pastor,
beat that, Manny. Beat that,
man. So many. I have too many. I have a few. I mean, I come from Pentecostal roots now, y'all. So like, I'm used to bucking, shouting, all that good fun stuff, right? I've seen people bite it in the altar, running full speed, taking a face plant. Now, there's been a few things. I'm gonna tell 2. Is that okay? Can I get 2 in? Can I get 2 in?
Yeah, come on. You got it.
So I was youth pastoring. I think youth pastoring tends to get you ready for embarrassing moments. If you can survive youth pastoring, you can take on the world. And we had an amazing service. God moved tremendously. Kids were just coming up left and right, wanting to share their testimony of what God was doing. And we had kids from every background saying like, God did this and God did that, like straight up deliverance, Holy Ghost testimonies. Now, after about the 10 of them, I started getting a little loopy, right? And this little boy comes up and he's 4 foot, 300 pounds, little chunky little fella. And he comes up there and what he says to me, he goes, Pastor Manny, I've been delivered. I've been addicted. And I'm thinking the whole time, oh crap, he's gonna see porn. He's gonna say something crazy like this. His mom's in the audience. What am I gonna do? And he goes, I'm addicted to food.
Oh, poor little dude. Oh.
Now here's where it was embarrassing for me, is I lost it. I didn't have the recovery. I got my arm around little buddy, and he says that, and I start laughing in his
laughed at the
face.
kid?
Dang, man.
I couldn't recover. I was done for. I got the giggles. And anyway, hey, he's doing good today. Weight Watchers is killing it for him.
Praise God.
That's one. And then Dominion Camp Meeting. It's a big conference that we put on every year. Thousands of people come from all over the place. And I had got up there to do a little exhortation, but also introduce one of the guest speakers. And I get up there, I'm super hyped, and sometimes lost my train of thought of what I was actually supposed to do. And so then I go to introduce the guest speaker, and anyway, it came out completely wrong. His name was Steve Billsborough. I still can't say it. Steve Billsborough. And instead of saying Steve Billsborough, now welcome to the platform, Steve Billsborough, I was Steve blah, 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 blah. Now, the problem with it was, though, is I walk off the stage and I'm thinking, I don't think anybody caught that. And then all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up. The media team had taken that little clip, already had cycled it through, started sending it out to people. One of the guests that week was Todd Delaney, who sent it out to all of his people. Over 300,000 people now are watching me saying, welcome to the platform, Steve, blah, 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 blah. I became a meme that day.
Oh, man. That's
Man,
hilarious.
I know that the little chunky kid, he gonna later on in life, he gonna have a problem with you. He's gonna come back. He's gonna
Manny.
come
I
back.
love him. Lance, if you're watching, I love you, buddy. You're the
Manny,
best.
that first story you told, I was cringing, bro. That was a cringe story. I'm like, dang,
For
you're
real.
laughing at the fat kid?
Like, that's terrible. Like,
Hey,
Yeah.
I can relate though. Fat kids can relate to fat kids. It's one thing if, hey, if you fat, I fat, we can joke about our fat, right?
Yeah.
But skinny people, don't you be coming at me with your skinny jokes.
You might get sold after this, Manny. You might get some trolling after this.
oh my gosh.
Oh man, I feel
Y'all
bad
are
for that
wild,
little kid.
man. Yeah, poor
That was
kid.
good.
He's,
That was
you
good.
know that kid's still thinking about that today.
Today,
Hey,
he
I'm
probably thinking
not like
about it.
Billy Madison.
right now.
One day he's like not crossing me off the list, being like, I hate Pastor Manny, you know.
Right?
All right, cool, awesome. Let's move on. Number 2, how did you know you was called to ministry? Pastor Manny, go first.
Oh, how did I know that I was called? Because I can't do anything else. No, like seriously, I don't know about y'all, but like, listen, my heart bleeds ministry. Even whenever I'm just in regular life, I'm thinking about ministry, and that's always a good indicator. If you know, if you can do anything else, I tell this. This was taught to me by one of my mentors. He said, if you can do anything else in life, go do it.
Yeah.
Go do it. If you can go, listen, if
true.
you go be successful in business, go be successful in business, because this is a hard life. This isn't an easy life. This is a high calling. And there's going to be days where you're broken. There's going to be days when everybody's taken from you, and it's going to hurt.
Man.
It's going to hurt.
So
it's not
real.
always on the platform and everybody giving you shouts and claps and amens. They're going to lie about you. They're going to cheat you. They're going to steal from you. So if you can do anything else, then go do it. But if you can't, if you know that you know that you know that you know that you know, then pull up your bootstraps, buddy, and go to work.
Man, that's real talk. One of my mentors actually told me, he was just like, listen, ministry will kill you. He was talking to a group of young guys coming into ministry. He's like, ministry, if you're not careful, ministry will kill you. And so everybody starts laughing like, ha, ha, ha. And he was straight, looked us dead in the eye. He says, no, you will physically lose your life. This is a burden. It's a holy burden, but it's a burden. And if you're playing, this thing will take your life out. So, man, that's real, man. If you can do anything else, go do it, right?
Well, I love it. That's the thing.
I love it. It's
I love it.
greatest burden ever.
Even as I've grown in different capacities, man, even sometimes the hard stuff now, like even though it's difficult to go through, I find the value that something happening on the inside of me through it. So I love it.
Yeah, greatest thing ever. What about you, Pastor Doug? How did you know that you know that you know?
Man, y'all took this deep, bro. Y'all took this down a deep hole quick. Y'all like,
Come on.
you ain't gonna bleed for this and get out of the room. Ooh, maybe I need to leave the room for a second. I don't know. I got a little, my butt cheeks clenched up a little bit when y'all were talking. Like, ooh, these boys just came so hard. Y'all just came so hard in the paint, like in a matter of a second. We were laughing about a fat kid. Next thing you know, it's like, die or go, get out of here. You know, I'm like, oh.
Real talk, man. It's real, though. It's real.
Y'all took this turn faster than the roller coaster at Cedar Point, man. We all made this turn quick.
Oh, we're gonna go back to the light. It's just one of the questions on the list. So.
Okay, all right. Let me try to rebound from that. Okay, Psalm 69. Psalm 6. I'll go scripture to protect myself. Psalm 69, 9 and 10. It says that I'm an alien to my brothers and I'm a foreigner to my mother's sons. For the zeal of the house of the Lord consumes me, and the insults of those who insult him fall on me. And I read that scripture when I was 18 years old, and I just felt such an awakening happen in my heart. And I asked my youth pastor, I said, I don't know what this thing calling means, but if God wanted me to volunteer, I'd volunteer. And he just kind of smiled. He says, you just don't know what you don't know. I think that you're following God's path for your life.
Good.
So yes, it's hard. Yes, it's challenging. Yes, Manny is so spot on with so much of what he just said. There also, though, has to be this zeal for the house of God. There has to be this desire to be like, man, I want God's house to be relevant. Come on, Muta. I want God's house to be life-giving. And when people insult God's house that it's not working, it falls on my shoulders to change the narrative.
Good.
Yeah.
And so that's just the calling that I've lived by. If I would say any, would be Psalm 69, 9 and 10.
So at what point in your life, like, were you just got up one day and just like, man, I got this zeal, or?
Bro, yeah, I was just saved, bro. I mean, I was just gave my life to Jesus, definitely on fire, definitely still making a ton of mistakes. That's one of the things I try to tell people. Somebody can be fully on fire for Jesus and still just the sinner they were a day before, because their heart and their head has not caught up to their heart. Their heart says yes to God, but their head doesn't know how to do it yet. So you got to give somebody some grace. I was still drinking, popping pills, trying to hook up with girls, but yet I had this zeal kicking in my heart. I knew it was wrong, but I didn't know how to fix it yet, you know? And that's why I try to encourage pastors, whatever you think the measure of grace is you got for somebody, just times it by 7 and just keep doing what Jesus did, you know? And so I was very early on in my journey with Jesus, but Manny said it really well. So you just know that you know, like, I've got a zeal for the house of God. Then the challenge is to get great people in your life to help you manage that zeal, to not let the fire burn down the calling, but heat up the whole house of the calling. And then, you know, push forward, hopefully for decades as you follow Jesus.
Yeah.
It's good, man.
That's good, man. I'm glad you just talked about pushing forward for decades, because there's a question here that really talks about your last dance. You guys been keeping up?
Oh,
I've been trying.
You've been
Manny's
trying?
all over it.
It's great, man. It's great. Go ahead, Number.
All right. With The Last Dance coming to a close, if you had a documentary that was your last dance, what would your major highlight be and why?
I hope for me, being a father to my kids, no better legacy to leave than that. And I want my kids to know that dad loved Jesus for real. It wasn't just something that was on a platform. It wasn't just something to sell books. It wasn't just something to be known. But what he did it with everything that he had. He wasn't perfect, but man, he loved the presence of the Lord, and he taught us how to go after the presence of the Lord.
That's good, man.
That's strong, Manny. That's strong. I would echo that. I mean, being a dad as a fatherless guy, being a dad's a really big deal, but not just to repeat what Manny said. If I would give a second option, I would say that I just did it real. It was just 100 who I was. It wasn't polished. It wasn't religious. It wasn't fluff for the sake of fluff. It was like, dude, he was really him. I was on the phone with one of my mentors this morning, and he said to me, he said, Doug, what is so appealing about you is how much you dislike the franchise of church. Like the reason you're like an anarchist in the right.
So you're the Dennis Rodman of the dynasty, right? You the Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're the dude who's like, forget the system, forget the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Do it like Frank Sinatra. Do it your way, but do it the way Jesus wanted you to do it your way. You know, I believe what makes you unique makes you powerful. So
That's good.
I'm not going to be like putting on a suit on Sunday to impress somebody. I'm not going to cut off my beard because I should look like a polished Craig Rochelle, even though I respect Craig and love what he does. He's doing uniquely what is him, which is clean cut, all-American, get it done.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a kid who was just barely saved by grace. And I'm not going to be apologizing for the fact that I'm raw. My temperament is not uber political. Like they say the best senior pastors are the most presidential in that sense, you know, kind of they carry that. Well, I just push against it. So in one sense, not talking about my kids and what they think of me, what I hope the world sees from me is a guy who was committed to Jesus and refused to follow the establishment and let Jesus blaze whatever path he wanted to blaze.
Dude, I love that. I love that, man. I got to tell you, I'm watching the comments here. That's why I keep grabbing my phone. And my son is an all-out fight with Pastor Nathan right now. Because Pastor Nathan said, side note, LBJ is greater than MJ. And my son said, what did he say? He said,
Nathan isn't like, Nathan's knowledge is like Luke Longley compared to Michael Jordan. All right.
Wait, hold on. We're going to get to that. I'm glad y'all got this question. We got this question. And so my son says, that's a lie. And this is what your pastor on staff says to my son, Pastor Doug. You might need to have a conversation here. He says, Isaiah Mwenya, fight me. Pastor Nathan, you coming at a 14-year-old.
And then he said,
yeah. You know what it is? It's based in insecurity because he doesn't even know what a basketball is, okay? So he's picking a fight.
Oh,
like,
man.
Hold on. What sport did Michael Jordan play again? Hold on. What was it again? Nathan, we play pickup ball as like a group of us every once in a while. And when Nathan plays, he's the enforcer who gets rebounds and wears Daisy Duke shorts and running the post. I mean, that's Nathan, dude. So.
Pastor Nathan wears Daisy Duke shorts.
He used to play for Detroit.
Yeah, there you go. Isaiah Thomas enough.
Yeah. I love Nathan. Boom, roasted.
So boom, here goes the question right now. LBJ or MJ?
Who's the GOAT?
Listen,
Who's the GOAT?
the NBA today compared to what the NBA was then is completely different, right? LeBron is LeBron in his element, and he dominated there. But LeBron could not hang, I don't believe, with that early 90s, late 80s basketball style because it was rough and tumble. And MJ was the alpha of all alphas.
Yep.
He was out for blood. He was a killer. And I think that Last Dance show shows this dude didn't play. His teammates didn't like him. They were getting into fistfights with him. So I don't know, that tenacity, that drive for greatness. I gotta go Michael. I gotta go MJ.
I would say facts don't back up that statement, but my heart backs up that statement, Manny. So the facts tell you LeBron James hit more game winners than Michael Jordan did. The facts tell you LeBron's best player was Mo Williams with the Cavs. Okay. He never got to play with a Hall of Famer in that way that Michael did. Now, all that being said,
Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, all the stuff they did down there in Miami.
So
and then he had to go to LA and recruit everybody out to LA.
Here's what I'm trying to say. You had your time. I got my time. Okay, Stephen A. Sit down. Okay?
Reclaiming my time.
Hey,
my time.
Hey, Stephen A. Quit screaming at me, okay? You childish. Who do you want the ball in the hands for the last shot? No
Michael
doubt.
Jordan.
It's MJ.
So
yeah,
that's it. Who do you want as the greatest single player to ever dribble basketball? It's
Michael
LeBron.
Jordan.
No, it's not.
Michael Jordan.
MJ.
You are in
PD, I usually roll with
all
you with
Cleveland
everything, but on
has.
this one, we got to go with MJ.
It's all
right.
Cleveland has.
Michael Jordan has single-handedly controlled the game.
You're right.
LeBron can't do that.
LeBron will go down, though, I believe, as the greatest mogul transition from the game. Kobe was going there. He will be the guy that will be remembered by our children's children, and I think in more conversations than MJ. Maybe outside of this documentary holding weight for MJ. Because, MJ's been real quiet since he's left. He does not like the limelight. This was big that he even did this.
Yeah.
So,
Do you think that's because of like social media nowadays? Like all of that? That's the only reason LeBron's gonna be there?
That, and I think he's an ambassador more than MJ will ever be. MJ's old school. My work speaks for itself. LeBron understands I have a role to play beyond just being a great player. I'm going to be great in my communities. I'm going to be great. A guy who never had a dad, raising children, keeping his wife from high school. Like, he is a great human being. You cannot take that away from this man.
That's true.
MJ's kind of a terrible person. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he's the GOAT, and I respect that.
True story. So in the spirit of all good fights, I'm glad that we were able to graciously duke it out for a quick moment. But we had mentioned about fighting before. This is a very good question that we got. You want to go for it? Or you want me to go for it?
Go ahead, give it to him.
All right. Have you ever, knowing that both of you guys were probably unsaved and ratchet back in y'all days, well, I know more about Pastor Doug. Have you ever been in a fight? Not like a scuffle, like pushing back and forth, but like an all-out duking it out with throwing blows. I'm going for blood type fight. Have you ever, and did you win or did you lose? And be honest.
100. I've been in a legit fight in the parking lot, wilding out, and I got my butt beat, bro. I got my butt beat. I had to get 9 staples in the back of my head. I can show them to you.
Golly.
Yeah, I got.
Oh, man.
But I still fought. That's all that matters to me.
He said, I remained in the fight.
Came
And
after
I
it,
got
bro.
whooped.
I don't know. That might be one of them times where it's better to walk away
I
in
went.
the beginning.
I couldn't walk away. I was cornered, and I had to I tried to swing out, and I got beat, bro. It's a long story. Bottom line, I'm stronger today from it, and I got
He said,
scars to
Hey,
prove it.
listen, we all need grace. Even pastors need grace.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell a real quick story. I was at a Chiefs game back in 2000, I think 14, 15. Chiefs had just played.
So you were saved and pastoring during this story. Let's just
100%.
I wasn't saved or pastoring.
100%. Full disclosure here. This is pastors uncensored. Now, if my wife comes out here in a little bit and tells me to shut up, hey, I may be too vulnerable tonight. You may need to help bring me through to the other side, y'all.
Tell us what you did.
Tell us
My
the
dad and I
story.
went to this football game, and it was the Chiefs versus the Broncos. We had just picked up Alex Smith. We were doing good. We were looking like we were going to possibly make the playoffs. But the only thing that stood in our way was Peyton freaking Manning. And Peyton Manning always had the number. And so we get in. The game's amazing. The Chiefs are up the whole time until the fourth quarter. We blow a lead and we lose, and everybody's walking out of the stadium just frustrated as heck. And so we finally get to our car, and you're hearing people just, crazy yelling, screaming. You get to my car. Now, my dad, you got to know my dad. My dad is ghetto. Like, my name is Emmanuel Gonzalez, all right? He is Mexican ghetto, all right? And he's still got a little bit of that hood in him, okay? And so he's trying to get the car into the lane. And so my dad thinks that he's going to be like the human, like, traffic police. And so he goes out in the middle of traffic and just is standing there so that our car can kind of get in. So nobody was wanting to let him in. So he just decided to take matters into his own hand. Well, the guy that's up, the next car up, decides to like bump my dad with the physical car, like hit him. So the guy like hits my dad. My dad turned around, looked at this joker, and he takes both fists and Hulk smashes the front of the window. Now, mind you, I'm in the car, all right? I see my dad Hulk smash, and I'm thinking, oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. All of a sudden, out of the back of this dude's pickup truck come 4 or 5 guys that are half my dad's age. Now, listen, as a good son, I can't let my dad sit there and get his tail whipped. I got to hop out of the car and do something. These guys think they're going to beat up this senior citizen Mexican fat guy, and I can't let this happen on my watch. So I jump out of the car. There's a couple of the dudes that are with us. We jump out of the car, and now these jokers realize it's a fair fight. My number one objective, though, was to get my dad out of the situation. So I go up and I grab my dad. My dad turns around and punches me in the face. My dad! You put the car! We're grown men! We're Christians! We don't do this! Needless to say, that Christmas, I made sure that my dad remembered that he punched me in the face that year. And he took care of me and my family.
You went out to defend your dad and he punched you in the face.
Punched me in the face, y'all.
That is hilarious.
Punched me in the face. I'll still bring it up to him. Dad, you punched me in the face, Dad?
Look. So somebody who's watching this, who shall go unnamed, Nathan Pearson, just said, please ask Manny about Josh Cossey. Can we find out? Who is this Josh Cossey?
Can we let everybody know that Manny, myself, and Nathan all work together at the same church?
Oh yeah, so, totally forgot to introduce that.
We all know each other outside of this moment. So Nathan is bringing up dirt, dude.
I love it. Well, you know what? This is Pastors Unfiltered. So please give.
This is your fault, Manny. Be mad at Muta for making me share this. If Muta didn't make me share this, Nathan would have never saw this. Okay, and then he wouldn't be engaged right now.
I don't know, man. I don't want. Okay, I'll share.
He said, okay.
So Josh was a good guy, youth pastor at the World Harvest Church that we were all at.
Was or is?
Was. Now he's pastoring a great church, doing great things. God's blessing his ministry phenomenally. but I was probably 19, 20 when this happened, so don't judge me, all right?
Uh-oh.
So back in the day, we used to get together over at my buddy Chad's house, and there was a whole group of us. And when you have a group of guys, there's certain unspokens as far as who sits where every time y'all get together. And so I'm sitting in my seat, my typical seat. Now, Josh is the new guy coming in, and he thinks that he's just going to, like, you know, take my seat. And so I'm just like, dude, that's not cool. And then he wants to start getting a little aggressive and being like, what you going to do about it? Now, he played football. He was a star quarterback. He had a lot of different things, athletic dude. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little pudgy soft guy, right? Everybody always thinks the pudgy ginger can get pushed around. And so that day, I was like, I ain't going to let him push me around. So he just kept pushing, being like, what you going to do about it? I'm like, dude, just get out of my chair. I'm sitting here. I was sitting here before. Get out of my chair. And he's like, no. And it just escalated. And before long, Josh is trying to, like, come over and, like, do some sort of, like, I don't know, country jujitsu or something.
He said
country jujitsu.
Something snapped at me, and I went hillbilly, red Irish, crazy Mexican psycho.
Hulk smash like your dad.
I picked him up, smashed him on the ground, turned around, rear naked choke, got it set in, and he never came back to a UFC night after that.
UFC night.
It's funny.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Danny,
good.
as I think more about this question, there's several moments where I've seen you get in physical altercations.
Listen, I'm a passionate guy. What can I say? Jesus flipped over tables. I'll flip over tables too. Come on, somebody.
My God.
Next question, please.
This is the next question, please.
Pastor Manny, you're going to obviously say yes to this next part of the question.
Yes.
And would you get in a fight with someone today?
Yeah, like what would make you get into a fight today?
Oh, I was a youth pastor.
Oh boy.
I need you. What's wrong with the youth of today?
Listen, listen. If anybody sees this, help me, Jesus. Help me, Jesus. And there was a young man who was just leading a girl along, and I'll never forget. I was fed up with it. I kept seeing him play his games with her. And he wasn't a young man. He was a grown adult. All right. Just go ahead and insert that. Yeah. He was a grown adult, and I wasn't going to allow like him. She was a college age student. He was a grown adult anyway. And so I wasn't going to allow him to play his games anymore. So I went up to him and I said, don't talk to her anymore. And he was like, yeah, you can't tell me to talk to her. And I said, no, I can. Don't talk to her anymore. Unless you get your life right, don't talk to her anymore. And he thought like I was just joking around. And I said, I got in his face and I said, we'll take this outside if you really want to, and I'll wear you out. I said, don't talk to her anymore. He shut up, he got scared, and he backed down. But he will still say to this day, that was one of the life-changing moments for him because he realized he couldn't continue in his old pattern. Sometimes you got to lean into some ugly. Come on. Sometimes, what do you say, Doug? What do you say, Doug? Give us one of your little quippy quotes.
I ain't giving you none of them. I ain't getting lured into your let's fight people.
You know what? You're pretty aggressive, Pastor Manny.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm not like we're praying for you, bro.
But when you know me, you know I'm a big old teddy bear, y'all. But I
has revealed some things.
He wants me to say, own your ugly.
Own your ugly. Yeah. Oh, that's it.
I've got a question for Pastor Doug because you've been indicted as well too.
Oh boy.
What about the spiritual sword lady fight? This must be
that
good.
wasn't on me. I was assaulted. Okay, let me get real.
You were assaulted?
Yeah, man, there was a moment where this lady in a church, Manny and I come from some Holy Ghost church services, y'all. So sometimes you just gotta bring the popcorn and just say, it's on like Donkey Kong. You don't know what you're gonna expect, right? When that Q4 hits on that drum, you don't know what's about to break out in that church service. And I was a youth pastor, and this lady who was known as an interesting person. Okay, yeah, back to youth pastoring. She was known to cause trouble in the church because she was like real over the top, like spiritual. We kind of called her Spiro. She was real heavy, right? And she was trying to do all this weird stuff to teenagers. She was like trying to like pray and lay hands on them and being real crazy. And nobody else was there. I'm watching this thing unfold, and I'm like, the pastor in me rises up, like, these are my sheep, bro. Like, I gotta take care of these sheep. And this woman is trying to come over here and like do some weird mystical stuff on these kids, right? And so I step in and I'm being real chill about it. I'm like, yo, and the music's cranking. I'm like, hey. I'm like, you need to stop doing this. Like, you need to stop. And she doesn't. She pulls back and looks at me with these crazy eyes. And she goes like this. She grabs and she pulls out a spiritual out of a sleeve, a spiritual sword. There's no real sword. It's just imaginary. She pulls out this imaginary sword, right? And she starts coming at me and swinging her fist as fast as she can. And I'm like, whoa. And I'm backing up. And I'm going to tell you what really happened. No one's ever heard this live on TV before. This is real talk right now on Facebook Live. Okay, this is public.
Bring it.
A wonderful saint who could have been an angel in disguise. I don't know for sure if she was or wasn't. And she was an elderly Black woman. Came out of the pew and saw this white woman do this sword thing at me, right? And this elderly Black woman starts dancing at this. She starts like dancing at this woman, right? And the woman with the spiritual sword backed up and put the sword away and ran. And I felt like this Black woman like waged war spiritually against this woman.
What?
This happened in real life.
True story.
This happened in like 5 minutes. This all happened in like 5 real minutes.
Wow.
She really put the sword away?
She put the sword away.
Had enough sense to put her spiritual sword away before she did. Because it's not safe to run with the sword. It ain't even safe to run with one.
Oh my God.
And he took off. And this was like, I looked around and I literally thought to myself, am I getting punked? Because I just got punked in real life.
Oh Lord.
Sword away.
That right there just fed my spirit.
I got rabbit trail.
Man,
oh my gosh. Good stuff.
That's funny. We gonna keep Pastor Doug coming with the funny. I got
Yeah.
one specifically for Pastor Doug. Pastor Doug, how does one go about getting themselves kicked out of Bible college?
Oh man. Well, that's another physical violence situation. That's kind of the theme of this whole
Violent taken by force. Come on, read your Bible, people.
That's right. The kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. Don't forget.
That's Bible.
That's Bible. And I might not be the most spiritual, but I'll be the most violent for the kingdom of God.
Amen. Come on, preacher.
So, yeah, Bible college was a learning curve for me. I went in expecting they're going to have grace for misfit toys, not realizing most Bible colleges, you got to kind of already know the language. You know, you got to kind of like got to know the rhetoric. You got to kind of know how it works. I didn't know none of this stuff, dude. So I was super raw, probably not ready, but I did it anyways because I had that zeal, right? And I used to do a little bit of mixed martial arts, a little bit of rolling around. I did a couple years of it, and I used to lift and, all that stuff. And I was taking at the time, legal, let me be very clear about this. It was a legal substance, a creatine that you were allowed to use in working out. Today, that is banned. It is a banned substance that caused a lot of emotional mood swings that they took it off the market, okay?
Yeah.
So people knew that I would roll around and I like to do a little bit of mixed martial arts, a little bit of jujitsu. I had fun. And this one kid who was about 6'1", 6'2", I'm only 5'8", so pretty big guy compared to me, was like kind of tempting me. He's kind of pushing on me. And we were at a retreat where like we went in hotel rooms. We're doing ministry like in like, I don't know, whatever. So we're like out of our norm. It's like late at night. And he's like, I want to roll with Doug. And I said to this kid, bro, if you want it, you're going to get 100, dude. Like, you're going to get 100. There ain't going to be no, like, half. We're going to go all in. Ooh, like, ooh. They're, like, moving beds, right? It's like, let's do this. Well, long story short, we start rolling. He's not ready for it. I catch him in a very compromisable position. I get him in a rear naked. I get my hooks in, which is you're getting your ankles underneath where his pelvic bone is. Deep hooks, deep hook up top. And I just said, you're going to sleep. And I crank up. And when I crank up, I think he's going to tap because it's a very deep hook. And bottom line is he went into shock in this moment. Well, he wasn't tapping and I didn't want to let go because I thought this was my one opportunity to win. Long story short, he broke half the blood vessels in his face.
Oh.
Like 10 seconds away from dying, right? So ugly moment. I'm worried about them. Long story short, they're like, you're out of control. You can't be in this school. Like, this is Bible college. You almost killed this kid. So I got the, whoop, you know, and
that's
that
all
was
she
it.
wrote.
I learned a valuable lesson that day that ministry and MMA don't always go hand in hand.
No.
And
No.
it's best to leave that alone. So I don't roll with anybody anymore. It's out of my life. It's not what I do.
What'd you get for bringing in two gingers here?
Yeah,
See?
man. You guys are some passionate
There's a lot of
individuals.
on this
I
call.
always hear about y'all fighting.
This
I
is
love
hilarious.
people. I love people.
We're gonna switch it up a little bit. We're gonna get away from all the violence, and let's get positive here for a second.
Please.
Thank you, Jesus.
I'm still thinking about the fat kid. Oh,
You laugh. I don't know how you feel about, like, how do you go to sleep at night laughing at a fat kid, man?
Hey, listen, I love the kid. He loves me. We're all good. Oh.
All right, moving on. I'm gonna try to keep it together. I apologize. How do you prioritize ministry and family?
Great question.
And is there a time where you've had to put ministry over family?
Yeah, so I'll jump in, and I'm sure Manny's got a better answer than me. So let me get mine out first, then Manny can give a real spiritual better answer than I. You know, life's full of rhythms. And so there's rhythms where you say at this time, like a song, some rhythms are going to be faster, some rhythms are going to be slower. You need to understand that not any season needs to be a permanent season in your life. So there's times where the rhythm can be chill, and you're like, I'm spending a ton of time with my family, and it's good and it's healthy, and that's what was needed. And then there's other times where, like, hey, right now, like when we're playing in a church or we're doing a big initiative, you know, we just have to understand that this season will not last forever. So yes, family should always come first, but there are times where you have to have maturity in your relationship to say, hey, we're going to have to push really hard for a season, but on the other side of that season, we're going to rest, we're going to enjoy, we're going to relax. And I do believe in the principle, out of rest, you should work. You should not work to get rest.
Yeah.
Out of rest, you should have a desire to work.
Good.
So
That's good stuff.
eat that, Manny.
No, I think one of the keys in raising a family, and once again, I don't have grown children. My kids, I have 3. The oldest is 9. And so we're still learning how to, as Doug said, get our rhythm. But one thing that I found that works for us is not to exclude my kids from the house of the Lord, but to include them in the house of the Lord. And so, like, my kids are even a part of, like, listen, just everyday things that we sometimes, obviously we're not having them a part of the business, but like things that pertain to them where they feel, listen, I'm included in this. This isn't something that mom and dad does. This is something that our family partakes in. And it's a family opportunity that we have. One thing that I used to do whenever my kids were little, because we would be in a fast-paced season, is I would stop and make sure that they had priorities. So, if, for instance, if we're having an event and we've got bounce houses and we've got all this stuff, you know, more than likely, pastors' kids don't always get a chance to take part in those types of things with their family. And so, what I did is, before anybody else got a chance to go in there, me and my family went in there.
That's
just
good.
A chance to enjoy and not be excluded, but be included. And one thing that I've seen, like my oldest is 9, he leans in and he wants to know more, because it hasn't been like, no, let the adults know, get away, we don't need you. I've actually included him, and even in like my study times when I'm trying to like get a word, and I've seen God move in his heart, even at 9 years old, has been touched by the Spirit of the Lord, filled with the Holy Spirit. Powerful moments that, like, I didn't have to send him off to youth camp to get him right. I have the opportunity to be the one that baptized them. I've had to be the one to be able to lead them through the salvation prayer, the sinner's prayer. I've been able to like help impart the Holy Spirit into him and make something come alive on the inside. And so, yeah, I think if you cultivate that inclusion atmosphere, culture, your kids will naturally gravitate and then want to be a part of what mom and dad are doing, not feel excluded.
Yeah, man, that's some good stuff right there, man. Absolutely, so good.
again, go ahead, everybody that's watching, go ahead and send in some questions, some more questions if you want. We got one more, and then we're gonna do a lightning round, and we're gonna wrap this up. We're coming up on our time limit that Pastor Muta always sets on
Listen,
us.
we've got to respect these holy men's times. They need to have time to go up on the mountain and meet with the Lord.
After this, we need to go get in the gym.
Yeah.
Get some more of that aggression out, Pastor Manny. Get it out. Jeez.
All right, this is gonna help somebody.
Yeah.
How does one grow closer to God while being pulled away by a family member, a loved one, boyfriend, girlfriend, of that nature?
Well, I would jump in and say sometimes we need to evaluate what relationships we have in our life. So there's only one relationship that God does not want you to break, and that's the marriage relationship. I know many people had to say goodbye to moms and dads and people who did not believe in what God was doing in their life. So I think it's also an invitation to say, man, do I have the right people in my circle if I've got people trying to pull me away? Now, with that being said, let's say, well, I'm not ready to cut ties of that. I think anytime you deal with those situations, it is an invitation from God to say, what voice are you listening to? What voice is the most dominant voice in your life? Is it mine as God, or is it these people's? Because I just know this, not every time that God is speaking to me is being affirmed by everybody around me. I know there are some people, like there are people in my life that I do want to get their affirmation. I think of 1 Samuel chapter 3, when Samuel first heard the voice of God as a child, he kept running to Eli's room to say, what do you need from me? 3 times in a row. I thought it was interesting when God spoke to Eli, it sounded like his pastor. I found that to be very interesting. God spoke to Eli, it sounded like his pastor. It often, a good indicator when God is speaking is when it sounds like the voice of your pastor in your life.
That's good.
And so I'm afraid when you start listening to mom whose best interest is for you to go to college and get a degree, not follow the call of God on your life. I'm always evaluating people's motives when they're giving me advice or talking to me about things. Like, do you have an ulterior motive in the process? So my encouragement would be put yourself around the right voices. Some relationships maybe need a season of rest, or like, hey, I'm going to let this die and let God resurrect it. And also make sure you surround yourself, because you will be the average of the top 5 people you do life with.
Oh, say it again.
You will be the average of them financially, and this is proven studies. You'll be the average of them intellectually. You'll be the average of them relationally. And so I'm constantly making sure that my 5 are people that I want to be like. One of my favorite lines that I drop all the time is, only listen to advice of people you want to be like. So why would I take advice from somebody about relationships who's been divorced 5 times? Sorry, just because you've had a lot of relationships does not make you qualified to actually know how to keep a relationship.
That's right.
And so I listen to people that are like, I think of Al and Debbie Riddle at our Dream Center campus, who've been married for 70, almost 60 years, who hold hands walking into a store together. Those are the people that I want to learn how to have a better relationship with my wife, not the person who had a bunch of relationships. So only take advice from people that you want to be like.
It's awesome. That's good.
Yeah, I would say right voices, right choices. Listen, I love what Doug said. Get around people that have actually done it. So many people are too busy hanging out in the hen coop when they are meant and divinely inspired to fly with the eagles. And so stop hanging out with a bunch of chickens. Stop hanging out with people who aren't going in the same direction that you're going. Like, sometimes you just got to, in the great words of the theologian Taylor Swift, shake them off. The haters, all the people are going to come in here and they're going to try to destroy you, get you wrecked, get you out of focus. And I think that's one of the things. What are you focusing on? What's your attention on? When your attention is the presence of the Lord and wanting to please God, those voices begin to shrink because his presence is greater. What are you giving greater weight to in your life? Is it the word? Is it prayer? Listen, we can say these things over and over and over again, but it is true. Get in your word. It is a lamp unto your feet, a light unto your path. How do you not sin against God? Hide the word in your heart. You've heard Doug quote scripture. You've heard me quote scripture. There's been times in my life where I've been attached to people. I needed to break away from them. And the only way and weapon that I had was the word. But then at the same time, don't get mad at people who aren't going the same direction as you and make enemies out of everybody. Like Jesus on the cross. He said, Father, forgive them, for they don't even know what they're doing. Don't get mad at their ignorance. Don't feel like you now got to go be the police to the world and get everybody on the right path. Listen, you do you obey God, what he tells you to do. You get a word from him. You move forward in that word, and don't let anything turn your plow. Don't let anything distract you and keep you from that. And I think there's a lot of people that are listening to too many exterior voices, even what perception would tell you what you have to be or have to do, you know. Listen, what does God say? What does God say in this situation? And that only comes through personal devotion. You can't hear what God says through a 30-second Instagram quote.
Come on now.
That doesn't excuse you now from getting in the word yourself by listening to your favorite preacher for 2.5 minutes on Facebook.
Wow.
You got to get God for yourself. You got to get a word for yourself. You got to allow him to speak and illuminate the areas of your life that need to be corrected. Because listen, when you get in the presence of God, here's one thing that he begins to do is he shows you a mirror and says, all right, you got to fix this. You got to fix that. You got to adjust this. But the problem is we don't want to do that because we like staying broken. We like sometimes staying and holding on to those broken attachments and broken relationships. Yeah. If we would just let go of those things, we'd watch God do so much more.
Pastor Manny, wouldn't you say though, like, yeah, you got to be in your word, but if you were going to watch a 2.5-minute clip, it would be good to watch mine. Like if you had to watch somebody.
If I had to watch a 2.5-minute clip, you'd be third on the list. Third on the list.
Okay. All right. I can be
third on the list.
You'd be third.
You know what? Hey, third on the list, still get you on the podium. I still get a medal at the end, so I'll take it.
Hey, listen, bro.
Come on.
Top 5. Hey, I want your salary, bro.
Y'all silly. Man, hasn't this been amazing?
Man, this has been
you guys
awesome.
Are incredible. I mean, we're gonna have to bring y'all back again sometime, man, because y'all are amazing. The wisdom that's there, the dysfunction that's there. It's just, you can tell the Holy Ghost has been working in y'all lives. Praise God.
If it wasn't for the grace of God, my God.
Yes.
I gotta say, doing Pastors Unfiltered, I've got a chance to look at pastors totally different. Like, I never expected a pastor to say, "Yeah, I was on stage laughing at fat kids." Like,
he's still on.
That's what I'm saying.
He has not let that go.
I can't help it. Like, that's big. Like the kid was pouring his heart out to him,
crying.
Deliver. You had to be in there in the moment. Hey,
yeah, man.
His mom.
Check this out, man. Thank you so much, Pastor Doug, Rush City Church, Niles, Ohio, Pastor Manny, World Harvest, Elkhart, Indiana. How can people find y'all? Social media. Give us your social media handles. How can we follow you? How can we learn more about what you guys are doing?
My name. Just Google.
We can't have him back there.
Go figure it out.
He said Google and you'll figure it out. Golly.
We might have to split them up.
Listen, we're gonna put Pastor Doug's Instagram handle in the comments. I mean, in the description. Pastor Manny, how can people follow you, get to connect to you?
I gotta look it up.
Got a MySpace account that he likes to promote.
He said MySpace.
Manny.Gonzalez _.
Wait, hold on. Do you guys remember High Five?
No.
You guys don't remember High Five?
No.
Oh man, they must have been the broke kids in Southwest Michigan, but that was a thing. Anyway, Pastor Manny, I cut you off. What was it?
Manny.Gonzalez _ on Instagram.
Manny.Gonzalez.
Manny.Gonzalez.
If you become his friend, he'll make you his top 8 on MySpace. I promise.
He said top 8 on MySpace.
No doubt. In our final minute together, Pastor Manny, could you close us out in prayer?
Yes. God, we thank you for another day, another opportunity to live life. And God, I thank you for friends that we can go forward together with. Now, Lord, I pray right now blessing to every single one that's watching, God. Let them be encouraged, God, that you're not looking for perfection. You're just simply looking for presence, for us just to show up. And so, God, right now, I just thank you that you be with every single one. God, I pray over Pastor Doug, Rush City Church. Let it continue to explode and do great things for the kingdom. Relevant Church, God, I thank you that you increase their influence in the city and the region, God. Be with Pastor Muta, this entire team, God. We just thank you that no eye has seen, no ear has heard what you have in store. So, God, bless it now. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I will say, I was looking forward to that lightning round.
Yeah. We're gonna have to come and do an encore with you guys just with a lightning round so we can get all of it. Because there were some really good questions in there, but we want to respect you guys' time, man.
Oh, Doug's got nothing to do. He ain't going to work tomorrow anyway.
Oh, hey, how was this?
This
is the best host ever.
This was good.
This guy right here.
This was good.
He's been amazing.
I
This was all his idea. Pastors Unfiltered was all his idea. So
I don't appreciate how Pastor Doug came in. Like he came with all the funny. He messed me all up. Like you took my job, man. Like
he's the funny one on this.
But no, this has been great. This has been great. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. We're gonna have to do it again. I don't think we can get y'all together because y'all like a
dysfunctional couple.
Yeah, like you know, the ginger together, y'all are like a gang or something. Y'all be ganging up on us. It was rough.
Pastor Doug, why are you muted?
Because he can't figure out technology.
I'm not muted. Am I muted?
You were muted.
You've been muted.
Can you hear me?
He wants to sit here and dog on my MySpace. Look at this joker. Can't even figure out how to work a Zoom call.
Hey, I need one of my grandkids to help me fix it.
I need help. Somebody come over here.
Oh man.
What button do I? There's no buttons on this phone.
Hey mom, hey kid, good to see you.
Y'all silly.
Y'all
All right, we out of here, man. Y'all troublemakers. Go back to your families. Hey, go get your aggression out.
Y'all don't realize,
Manny, please.
Y'all don't realize that Manny and I probably talk every couple days to each other, and all we do is razz each other and our friends and everything. So like, this is just our normal life of Manny.
Awesome.
So.
That's good. That was a good reason to have y'all both together, man.
My top five, Doug.
Y'all made it great.
Thank you guys. We appreciate y'all.
Dang, look at this in my kitchen. Look at this spider. Y'all see it?
Was that a spider?
That's real. I gotta kill it. I gotta kill it. Hold on. I'm gonna kill this joker.
I'm not gonna turn this live off. We're gonna keep this off for this.
Oh, this Pastor Unfiltered here, boy.
Hey, are you wearing a pair of Crocs?
Oh, you got Crocs on.
You got Crocs on?
Hang it up. He's wearing Crocs.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. You got Pastor Manny to take off his hat. Oh God.
He's wearing Crocs. All credibility out the window.
Everything.
No more swag, Doug.
They're my house Crocs.
He said my house Crocs.
It don't matter.
Listen, Pastor Doug, I have so much respect and honor,
Man.
but now I gotta
Hey.
question the circle. I gotta question that 5. I gotta question that 5 people I keep around.
You're the sixth man now, Doug.
He said you're the sixth man.
And wait, were those camo Crocs?
Hey,
They weren't just regular Crocs. They were camo.
Oh,
God.
Those are the first ones
Oh,
ever
no.
made.
Everything you said about the
Those are
rock
the
game.
prototype Crocs.
So
Those
he
are
got
the first one.
first generation, baby. Those are the ones. He's
they
got the
nasty,
Croc
bro.
ones.
They don't even got the flap on the back.
I love it.
All right,
I
love you guys.
I'm a house Crocs. Okay, this is what I do. I live in the country now. I'm not hood anymore. I'm a house Croc man.
I'm not good anymore.
Brought you out the hood. Now you wearing Crocs. Look at
That's right. That's
Look
right,
at
man.
Super
That's it.
bougie.
Super bougie, super country. All right, y'all.
funny.
Peace. Love y'all.
Love y'all,
Bye.
man. It was awesome. Later.
Take
See
care,
ya.
guys.